And you told us that for you to support the members of the junta to carry out this coup, they made some promises to you. Can you remind us what those promises were?
It was promoting us, allocating us plot of land, maybe send us to overseas to go and do some studies. A lot of things was been said, but nothing has been done.
And how did the soldiers receive that state of affairs, that situation? How did they deal with it?
We get frustrated, we get disappointed. Yeah, we were disappointed. That was not what we were expecting. Because remember, we were the one who fought for them to sit down. You know, only 5 people cannot take over a country. We were the men on the ground who was fighting for them. Remember, we have that time hundreds of soldiers, but few of us done this coup d'etat. Those who supported this coup d'etat on July 22nd, we were not up to 40 soldiers. We were not up to 40 soldiers who went in for this coup d'etat, 1994. Most of us were junior ranks, privates and lance corporal, and very young at that time.
For how long did you remain at State House?
I was there until October 94.
And then what happened?
I was sent back to Yundum Barracks. I went to Yundum Barracks.
And tell us about life in Yundum Barracks during this period.
During this period, it was terrible because at that time, even it was very hard to see 2 soldiers even discussing. If they see you at that time discussing, you can be arrested and charged for mutiny. It was not allowed. There was no trust between us, the soldiers. You know, it was terrible in the Yundum Barracks at that time. There was no trust between the soldiers. We were mining each other, you know, because of, I mean, it was too much.
And let's talk about the food at Yundum Barracks. Did it change at all? Did it improve?
It never changed. They used to give us water, chew, you know, was the best. Sometimes beans with, you don't know, pieces of fish or meat, half bread. And the bread normally, believe me, the bread that they used to give us, very bad bread. Maybe soldiers are hearing me. The ration was very poor. Was very, very poor.
Did anything change with the leadership of the junta? Did any condition at Fajara or in any one of these barracks, did any of these conditions
after
change?
1994, some conditions get changed, like the accommodation. They renovated the camp. It was nice, brought new mattresses.
Up to, mind you, we're talking about October 1994.
Okay.
When you returned to the camp, were there any improvements?
No, things remain the same.
How did the soldiers feel about this? The fact that their colleagues for whom they fought to take over government, those people are now in power and their situation has not changed.
We feel angry. That was the cost of the November 11.
Can you tell us about that?
It was, yes. Then after October, I went there. I remember Sergeant Fafa Nyang told me that we want to get rid of these people. How do you see these juntas? I told them that my own observation, I told him that, sir, these people, they don't deliver, they fail us. All what they has promised us, we see nothing. So he told me that, yes, don't worry. We are up to something. When we are ready, we will brief the men. And I remember Lieutenant Dotfal, being my brother too, he used to brief me about the November 11. It was well prepared. But what happened was that very day, November 11.
Hold a second. Before we get to November 11th,
Okay.
you told us that it was very well prepared.
Very well prepared.
That is where we need to get into. We want to know how this thing was prepared as far as you know.
Yeah, as far as I know, it was well prepared because Barrow, we all know him and we trusted him. The same things apply to Lieutenant Dotfal. We all trusted him and we all believe in him. We all know that he is a professional soldier. The same things apply to Sir Jackal, Lieutenant Sergeant Juf. The same things apply to Lieutenant Jibril Sey. The same thing, all the officers that involved, we trusted them. So by the time they talked to us, we told them that no problem, sir, we are good to go. We are good to go. We are fully behind you people. If you are ready to lead us, we will get up and get grip of them. Yes, this was discussed. I was new about that.
Can you tell us about the meetings during which these things were discussed?
Yeah, I never attended their meetings. I was just been briefed by Sergeant Fafanyang. Dotfal too used to brief me. Yes, only briefing, but I never attended the meeting. They themselves used to sit together, discuss together. From there, they will come to us, give us information. The ones that they trust at that time, they would talk to the one that they trust at that time, tell them what they planned, how they're going to do it. This was what they told us.
Do you know how they planned to do it?
Yeah, the plan was to attack State House, to try and get rid of the juntas by attacking the State House.
Do you know who was to lead the attack at State House?
Yes, Lieutenant Basiru Barrow.
Did information or did the plan to overthrow the junta led by Yahya Jammeh, did that plan remain a secret until November 11th?
No, it never remained a secret. It was known to Yahya Jammeh and the juntas because I remember November 10. Yeah, November 10. That evening, one of Yahya Jammeh's brother called Buba Jammeh, Kanilai, he called Sana Sabali and told Sana that, I don't understand the movement in the barracks. Soldiers are armed with RPGs and AK-47 moving up and down. I don't know what is going on. This information was passed to Sana Sabali by Buba Jammeh.
But let's take a few steps backwards. Did any events happen in the camp which suggest that information about the planned coup had already leaked?
Yes,
before
of course.
the 10th?
Before that, yes, because there was a day came, Sana Sabali, Edward Singate, this was 3 days before November 11. Then they came there, they fallen the men under the flagpole.
Let's first establish who came. You mentioned Sana Sabali and Edward Singate. Who else came?
Sadi Waidara,
Who else?
Yankuba Toure.
Okay.
I think Babu Karjata was there. He was then the army commander. Then they came, they fall in the men. We all fall in.
What do you mean by they fall in the
They
men?
assemble us. We all assemble under the flagpole. Then Sana gave a speech. He said that, yeah, we know what is going on. We hear that there are some members here who want to overthrow our government. But if it is true, it's better they forget it. We come together as one. Then from there, Edward Singate removed his pistol and fired 3 shots in the air. Pow, 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 pow.
That's 4 shots.
Yeah, 4, something like that. You know. And after they left, yes, I remember by the time he fired shots in the air, some of the soldiers were speaking in our local language, saying that, hey, Jamfa bi yahuna, Jamfa tinyatale, tubabo fela e kidomala, Jamfa nyin tinyatale. You know, this was said by some soldiers. You know, then after they left.
Did they make any changes to the camp before they left in terms of the command structure?
Yeah, Barrow was transferred to Fajara Barracks. Basiru Barrow was then transferred to Fajara Barracks.
My colleagues want me to have you translate what you just said, Jamfati Nyatale. Could you translate that into English, please?
Yeah, to make it easy, I mean that by the time he fired shots in the air, then people say, yeah, everything gets spoiled, you know, nothing will work again because this white man has already fired, which means that, you know, nothing will, you know, go through.
Mr. Chairman, it's 5 minutes to the lunch break. I cede the floor to the commissioners to ask questions if they have any. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Council, and thank you very much, witness. If there are no questions, you may want to use the 5 minutes to complete that, and we would hold our questions until the end of the session. Is that all right? Or would you want to break them right away? I leave it to you, Council.
We break right away and we come back 5 minutes to 12 or 12 o'clock if you so choose.
Thank you. We come back actually at 12 noon, if we can do that. Meeting is adjourned. Back at 12 noon. Yes.
Mr. Witness, welcome back. I hope you have rested and enjoyed TRRC coffee.
Yes.
Thank you. Welcome back. Before the break, you were talking about 2 important events. The first is the meeting that was held at Fajar at Yundum Barracks in which members of the junta, including Sana Sabali, Edward Singate, Sadibo Haidara, and Yankuba Ture, all of them lieutenants, came to the barracks to talk to you about what was happening. And according to you, at the end of the meeting, or towards the end of the meeting, Lieutenant Singate fired 3 shots in the air, and some of the 4 shots in the air, and some of the soldiers remarked that Kumobe Tinyatale, it's all over now. But then, just before that, you indicated that Buba Jame, known as Kanilai, also known as Kanilai, reported to Sana Sabali that there was a planned coup that was in the offing.
Correct.
Which event occurred first? Was it the meeting at Yundum Barracks with members of the junta, or was it the report provided by Buba Jame? Which occurred first?
It was the meeting. The report was the last.
So this meeting, you said, occurred 3 days before the coup attempt took place, correct?
Correct, sir.
And could I say that this thing occurred on the 8th of November? Would that be correct?
On the 8th, yeah.
Can you walk us through what happened afterwards? You said Barrow was replaced, was removed from commander of Yundum Barracks. And what happened to him? Where was he posted?
Then the time they removed him from Yundum Barracks, he was posted at Fajara Barracks. Then they brought in Captain Sen, I don't know, he was from the TSG to replace him. Then Barrow was at Fajara Barracks.
Do you know a person called Captain Marong?
Sorry, thank you, sir. Not Sen, it was Captain Marong. Thank you.
But you also know a Captain Sen, correct?
Yes.
And do you recall what responsibility he had at that time?
Sen at that time, no, sir.
Did this information, or did this meeting you had with members of the junta telling you that whatever it was that you were planning should be stopped, did that have an impact on the plan that your seniors hatched at Yundum Barracks?
No, at that time nothing changed. We remained the same. It was like to us that they don't say nothing. You know.
Did you abandon the plan to stage a coup d'etat against the Jammeh government?
It was never abandoned.
What happened after the meeting of 8th of November 1994?
Nothing happened after the meeting. They left. Nothing happened until November 11.
Before November 11, let us talk about November 10th. Did anything happen on that day?
November 10th, maybe, but now I don't remember much. And I don't want to say something that I am not sure of.
Thank you very much, Mr. Witness. Fair enough. That's the way it should be. You should only talk about what you know or what you heard, what you perceived. You told us earlier that Buba Jammeh spoke to Sana Sabali. Do you recall which day this thing occurred?
Yes, this was on the 10th November.
Can you tell us about that? What do you know about that?
Yeah, he called Yaya Jammeh. He went to the telephone booth. We were having one telephone booth around the RSM office. So he went there and picked up the phone, called to Sanasabali, telling him that something's happening here in the barracks. Soldiers are moving, carrying heavy weapons. So it seems like, they want to carry on, go ahead with the coup d'etat. This was what Buba Jammeh told Sanasabali. The time he told him that, then later in the night, came the junta to the barracks. Even I myself, I remember talking to Sergeant Nyang. I told him that we should arrest Buba Jammeh if we want everything to go through, because he is not part of the loyalists. He is speaking to the council members. So it's better we arrest him. He was at that time a profo, and he was the duty profo at that time. So I went to Sergeant Nyang, I'll give him this information. He told me that, okay, don't worry.
And which Sergeant Nyang are you referring to?
I'm referring to Sergeant Fafa Nyang, late.
So Sergeant Nyang, did he act on your advice?
Yeah, I told him that, then I left.
The question I asked was whether Sergeant Fafa Nyang acted on your advice.
No, they never act. He was never arrested, Buba Jammeh.
At what stage was it found out that he has spoken to Sanasabali, informing him that the soldiers were still bent on continuing with the plan to overthrow the Jammeh government?
Yes, after came a private soldier called Abdu Cham. He met me around the cookhouse and told me that, boy, Kanilai has spoken to the juntas. He leaked everything. I told him, are you sure? He told me, yes. I was there, he called. Then that was the time I decided to go and meet Sergeant Fafa Nyang and give him this information, which I did.
And what did you do personally? Did you remain at the barracks?
Yeah, I remained at the barracks until late in the evening. I was confused because we don't see any of the commands, like Lieutenant Dotfal was not there. Lieutenant Basiru Baro, we don't see him. Lieutenant Elef Jammeh, we don't see him. Lieutenant Jibril Say, we don't see them. Then we discourage. I myself, I decided to jump over the fence and go home. I went home at night.
You told us earlier that you were not present during the meetings of the officers who were planning the coup.
Correct.
Do you know for certain whether Lieutenant Jibril Say was part of the coup?
Yes, he was part of.
We have received testimony suggesting that he was not part of the coup.
He was part of the coup, is the truth.
How do you know that?
I know it 100% because that time he used to talk with Lieutenant Dotfal. They used to sit together and discuss about this coup d'etat. This I know.
So your basis of knowledge is that you have seen Lieutenant Say sit and talk to Lieutenant Dotfal.
Many of them, yes, with Sergeant Sajakal, with Sergeant Dotfal, Sergeant Ibusise, Nyankabare, yes. Yes.
So you said when you did not see any of the officers, you decided to go home.
Yes.
You jumped over the fence and you went home.
Straight away.
Where did you go to? Where was your home at this time?
At this time, Bakau Kachikali.
And you remained in Bakau for how long?
Until the following morning, early hours, around 6. Whilst I was in my house in Bakau, I hearing shots being fired, RPGs, shots being fired in the air. Whilst I was in my house, Bakau.
What date was this? Was it the 10th or the 11th?
It was, I would say it was between 10, 11, late in the night, after 12, 1.
No, I'm referring to the date. What date would this have been? Was it the 10th of November or was it the 11th,
11th
of November?
Because it was after 12. Then obviously it's 11th November.
So while at home at Bakau, you were hearing gunshots?
Yes, sir.
Do you know where those gunshots were coming from?
Fajara Barracks, at Fajara Barracks.
Did you leave your house to go and find out what was going on?
Yes, I did. I left my house, then I went to a soldier called Jawara. He was my batch mate, still around.
What was his first name? What's his first name?
Kemo Jawara. Kemo Jawara.
What rank at the time?
At that time, he was a private soldier. Private soldier. Then I went to his room that night. I knocked at his door. He waked up. I told him that, class, do you hear the gunshots? That means that, these guys are going ahead with the coup d'etat. And I asked him now, no, he asked me, yes, but what do you decide? I told him that I think it's better we try to maneuver and see how best can we get to Yundum barracks. Because remember, we are soldiers. If not, we will get late. Then he told me that, no, class, you know what we're going to do? Now it's late. It's night time. Why not we stay until daybreak? We go. Because now if we go, we don't know where to go. You don't know who are these people firing. Luckily, you can just get in and they get you down. So it's better we wait. Then we waited until the early hours, around 6 o'clock. We left, both me and Kemo Jawara, to Yundum Barracks. We went through the back gates.
How were you dressed at this stage?
I was in full uniform.
How about your colleague, Jawara?
He too was in full uniform.
Do you know what time you arrived at Yundum Barracks?
Yes, arrived at Yundum Barracks to 8. Few minutes.
8 in the morning?
8 in the morning, yes, sir.
Can you tell us what you found there?
Yeah, by the time we arrived, we went through the back gate. There I met the sentry, Lance Corporal S.M. Drame. He told me that, said, Darboe, are you just coming in? I tell him yes. He told me that we suffered dead bodies. Dead bodies are lying. Rush to the armory and pick up your arm. Situation can change. That was the time I rushed to the armory, pick up my arm. Then I heard that Barrow was shot dead. He was inside the truck, one military truck that they call Valera. We used to call it Valera. It's a British military truck.
Which Barrow are you referring to?
I'm referring to Basiru Barrow, Lieutenant Basiru Barrow.
Proceed, please.
Then I myself, I went to the truck. I climbed up. I saw Barrow with Dotfal lying down in the truck. His head was swollen, man. Blood all over the nose.
Whose head was swollen?
Basiru Barrow and Dotfal, both of them. Because I learned that, Dotfal, he was not shot dead because why? He was having what we used to say bulletproof. We
What
call
is
it bulletproof
Can
tool
you
in our local language, balandango in Mandinka. You know, he was shotted many, many times. But the bullets could not penetrate him.
That's the story you had.
About that fall. Then by the time I climbed up, I saw them lying down. Few minutes later, I hear shouting. I turned, I saw a group of soldiers beating Sergeant Young to death, beating him, both struck, mounting his head until they broke his vest. He was crawling.
Let's take it a bit slowly. Do you recognize the soldiers who were beating him?
Yes, some of them. Yes.
Tell us.
Alaji Kanyi was there, Lance Corporal Koli was there. Yes.
Proceed, go ahead.
He was there. The former Babukar Sanyang was there.
What rank?
At that time, O2, Sergeant Major, acting RSM. You know, with Buba Jamme, many of them.
Okay. You mentioned a few names.
Yes.
You said Alaji Kanyi was there.
Yes.
What was his rank at the time?
At that time, Corporal or Sergeant.
Did he participate in beating
Of course.
Fafa?
Yes.
You also mentioned Buba Jame.
Yes.
Did he participate in beating
Of course.
him? You also mentioned
Koli. Koli, he was a medic. He was the one who shot Fafa Nyang.
Did he also participate
He participated.
in beating him?
He shot at the man, pow, 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 whilst he was in the grave. Because Sergeant Nyang was buried alive. Whilst he was trying to force himself to get up, they were throwing stone to him inside the ditch.
We will get to that point. Let's take it step by step. We want to understand how Sergeant Nyang was killed and who participated in his killing. So take it step by step as you recall events. All right?
Okay, sir.
Tell us the first stage you saw Sergeant Nyang. You said you heard the commotion, you heard the noise. So take it from there.
Then I heard the noise around the cookhouse. Soldiers shouting, hey, you know. Then I went there. I saw Sergeant Nyang on the ground being beaten, using the butt of the rifle, obstructing him, mounting him, beating him, man, all kind of beating that you may imagine.
You have told us 4 people who participated in it.
Yes.
Who else participated apart from the 4 you mentioned?
At that time, you know, I can remember these people.
At this stage, do you know where members of the junta were, members of the council?
At that time, in the barracks, at that early morning, Sana Sabali was there.
Apart from Sana Sabali, did you see any other member of the
Yes, Edward
council?
Singate. Well, every time they are together, wherever you call Sana, know that Edward is there, Yankoba is there, Sadibu is there.
Okay. We cannot leave this to an assumption. Did you see Sana Sabali there?
Yes, in the barracks. Yes, that morning, yes.
Did you see Edward
I
Singate
saw
there?
all of them.
Did you see Yankuba Ture there?
All of them.
Did you see
All of them.
Sadibu Haidara?
Yes, sir.
Do you know who was in charge of what was happening to Sergeant Nyang?
It was the juntas. They were the one who passed the order that if any of them been seen, let them be killed. This was said by Sana, let them be killed.
As at the time they were beating Sergeant Nyang, where were the members of the junta?
You know, at that time they were beating Sergeant Young. To be frank enough, as I went there, I saw Sergeant Young. The members of the juntas were there in the barracks. Then I could not watch it with my eyes. I have to leave that area completely and went to the primary school. There I seated for a while. Later I get back to the barracks. Before getting into the barracks, Sergeant Young was finished.
But you told us that Sergeant Young was put in the grave, in the pit.
Yes, because where I was sitting, if you understand it, if you know it, behind the school, we just have a fence that separates the school and the barracks. So obviously, if you sit inside that school, you can straight away see what is going on in the barracks, especially the side I was sitting, I was seeing with my eyes. If you are used to Yundum barracks, behind the fence, around the primary school.
At what stage was this pit dug, if you know?
Sorry?
At what stage in all this that was happening did they dig a pit?
Yes, they dig a pit. That pit, that is the place where they bury, the first ditch, that is where they bury Basiru Baro, Dotfal, and Fafanyang. 3 of them in one grave.
At what stage did they dig the pit? Was it after they were dead, all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Or was the pit dug before Fafanyang was killed?
Before Fafanyang was killed.
Can you tell us how that was organized?
Anyway, I believe the former RSM Papu can explain better than me, because that time he was the RSM of the camp together with Babukar Sanyang.
What rank was Babukar Sanyang?
At that time, O2 Sergeant Major.
Was he also an RSM?
Acting at that time.
You mentioned another RSM, Papu.
Papu.
What's his full name?
Papu, I don't know his full name, but he is known as Janjare. That is his nickname, but we call him Gomez. Sergeant RSM Gomez.
Is it RSM Papu Gomez?
Correct, sir.
No, I just put together the 2 names that you provided.
Yeah. He all these names.
So, did you actually see the pit being dug?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what you saw, how it happened.
No, I saw the pitch being dig. I went up to the pitch. The pitch was dig. It was not too deep, you know. It was just dig up to just like, let's say, half meter. It's not even up to half meter. A square, they dig it like a square, like this.
Who dug the pit? Do you remember?
No. What RSM Papu and Sanyang can explain is the truth. They knew.
Do you know who told them to, or who ordered them to dig the pit?
Yeah, that's why I say RSM Papu and Sanyang can explain, because that time they were in charge.
They were in charge of who?
What was going on?
In relation to the members of the council who you say were present, how were these 2 RSMs in charge?
After they left the juntas, then these 2 RSM were the guys responsible of arresting the men, because I even remember when Sergeant Major Say was coming from his residence that morning holding his file, he came up to the main gate, was halted by Pasanyang, gunpoint, and told him that, sir, you are under arrest. Whilst Papu was standing in front of his office, right at the guard room. Sergeant Major Say was escorted by Pasanyang up to the guard room.
We will come to that one. Okay. We will come to that one. What I first wish to establish is who had the authority at the camp as at the time the pit was dug and the bodies of Dotfal and Barrow were placed in the pit, and also Fafanyang, at this stage not yet dead according to your testimony, was also placed in that particular pit or grave. We want to know who was really in charge of that operation. You said earlier that the two RSMs, Sanyang and Gomez, were in charge of that pit. Do you know who was giving them orders at this stage?
Yeah, of course, it was the junta members, especially Sabali.
When this thing was happening, you said the members of the junta were in the camp. Were they at the scene? Were they present when this activity was taking place?
No, the time we were burying these people, they left. After they left.
Did they leave before they were buried or after they were buried?
Before they were buried.
Before they were buried?
Yes.
Okay. So where were you when these people were being buried? Where the...
Yundum Barracks.
At what spot? Were you at the scene or at the primary school?
I was not at the scene. I was in one of the buildings near where they were buried. And I was watching through the window.
Did you see exactly what was going on?
Of course.
Can you tell us what you saw? Tell us exactly what you saw.
Yeah, I saw they've been dragged and thrown in the ditch.
Who dragged who? Tell us one by one. The body of Barrow. Do you recall who dragged the body?
No. No.
How about the body of Dotfal? Do you recall who dragged the body?
No. No. But all what I know is Babukar Sanyang was there, Alaji Kanyi was there, but definitely by the time they were dragging their body, to be honest, I was not there. But this is what happened because information was coming from the soldiers. Whatever happens here, if you go there, you hear it there. We are giving information to one another. You know, this is how we used to come to this is how we used to know some things. There are some things that happens. I was not there, but I know how it happens. Why? Because I have been told by soldiers, you know, we don't hide at that time to each other, nothing. We talk to each other. You know, boy, this is what and what happened.
When Fafanyang, still alive, as you said, was put in the pit or the grave, did you see that event?
Yes, with my two eyes. Whilst I was in the building of Bravo Company, opposite where they were buried.
Can you tell us what you saw?
Yeah, what I saw was, I saw they throwing stone on him. Then I saw Koli with my two eyes came with his AK-47. Pow, pop, 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 automatic onto Sergeant Yang. Others with
which Koli are you referring to?
He was a medic, Lance Corporal. He was a medic. I don't know, Lamin Koli. You know, in the army, we call surnames more than names.
You said, is it your testimony that he fired automatic and several rounds onto Fafanyang?
Yeah, of course.
What do you say to the suggestion that the bullet that killed Fafanyang from Koli's gun was a negligent discharge? What do you say to that?
It was not a negligent. This was a deliberate act, not negligent.
Why do you say it was a deliberate
act? Of course, because
act?
he just faced the man, cocked his weapon, spray on top of him. I would not call that negligent. I will call it deliberate. Negligent, I understand when you hold your rifle and it fires, pow. I will call that negligent. But the weapon you hold and pointed at someone, start spraying him or her, that is not negligent. That is deliberate. My own understanding.
Your testimony is that Koli finished off Fafanyang deliberately.
Correct.
He murdered him.
Yes.
What do you say to the suggestion that Koli killed Fafanyang on compassionate grounds because Fafanyang was suffering? He wanted to help him by just ending his life.
I would not call it like he wanted to help him, man. No. He feel to kill him, to finish him. That's what I believe, just to finish him. His life could have been reserved because there was nothing like fighting. They were arrested and beaten to death. If I thought that we fight, yes, and he get killed, I will know that yes, there was a fight and he get killed. But there was nothing like fighting. There was nothing like, just arrest the man, beat him to death. This is what happens. So they did it deliberately.
You were telling us about arrests of officers who walked into the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And you are telling us of the case of Jibril Sait.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, I saw Lieutenant Jibril Sait that morning coming, holding his file by the right hand, coming to the barracks. He came up to the main gate. He was halted by a private called Pa Sanyang from Katong. Gun pointed at Sergeant Major Lieutenant Sait and told him, hands up. Sergeant Major Sait raised his hands up. Pasane collected his file. He gun point Sergeant Major Sait and told him that, to the guard room. He escorted Sergeant Major Sait, Lieutenant Sait, from the main gate to the guard room.
Let's clarify his rank. At this stage, was he still Sergeant Major or was he Lieutenant?
Lieutenant.
Kindly proceed, please.
Yeah. Then, by the time he was escorted to the guard room, RSM Papu was there.
Papu who?
Papu Gomez. RSM Papu Gomez was there. I myself, I hear Papu telling Sergeant Major Sait that, ordering the provost that let Sergeant Major Sait be stripped. Then he started removing his jujus, uniform, everything. He was naked. And after packed in the cell, together with other officers.
Do you know which other officers were in the cell at this time?
Yes, Babu Karmane was there, Nyancho Nyankabare was there, Kereksila, Kopul Buba Kamara, Lieutenant Buba Jamme, Lieutenant Labin Darboe, Kopul Kamara, there were many of them.
Do you know at what stage these officers were arrested?
Some of them, before I know, they were already arrested. Yes.
Were you present when others were being arrested besides Lieutenant Sait?
Yes.
Can you tell us about those?
Sergeant Cisse was arrested in my presence, Ibu Cisse.
Can you tell us how that happened?
Yeah, by the time he too was coming from the Bahamas towards the guard room, he came up to the guard room. He was gunpoint, hands up. He said, what's happened? They told him, hands up. Shout at him. He raised his hands up, was escorted to the guard room and put in the cells. Nyankabare to his arrest in the barracks, I witnessed it. He was to the same thing, arrested and stripped, back in the cell, like all of them.
You told us that members of the junta were there, and you named the 4 council members. Apart from the council members, were there any other senior officials or senior military officers who accompanied members of the council?
Yeah, then the former army commander and
What's his name, please?
Babukar Jata,
What was his rank at the time?
Lieutenant Colonel at that time.
Who else?
And Lieutenant Colonel Baji. I think presently he's working with the president advisor to the security advisor or something like that. He was once ambassador somewhere, but now presently he's in the Gambia. He's the advisor to the president. I don't know. I learned that he is the security advisor to the president.
What's his name again?
It is Momodu Baji, something, but his second name is Baji, Lieutenant Colonel.
At that time?
I'm not sure of his first name, whether it's Momodu Baji.
How do you know that at this present moment he is security advisor to the president? How do you know that?
Yeah, I follow it in the news. One day, I heard it been announced as the security advisor to the president.
Were you surprised by that announcement?
Yeah, definitely.
Why?
Because knowing that man, I myself been knowing that man, it was a surprise to me.
Why was it a surprise?
Because of what he witnessed happening, and he kept quiet. He never said nothing. Instead, he was helping the juntas. That I would say.
When was he helping them?
Yeah, during the killings, he was there, and he could have stopped them. At that time, he was a senior officer. None of them decided to stop them from being killed. They were standing, allowed these people killing them. So, man, I cannot trust that man.
It is your suggestion
Yeah.
that Momodu Baji, the person who now occupies the position of National Security Advisor, was present at Yundum Barracks November 11
Yes.
when these captured soldiers were being executed, and according to your testimony, he did nothing to stop it.
No,
That's your testimony.
He did nothing to stop it.
What do you say to the suggestion that Momodu Baji was at this time out of town serving in the provinces? What do you say to that?
Oh, I have nothing to say to that man, really.
Would you say that is true?
Yeah, I would say it's true.
No, the question is that he was not. What do you say to the suggestion that he was not present at Yundum Barracks on November 11th or November 12th when these soldiers were being executed?
He was not present at the barracks, but he was present at the range where they were executed.
Did you
Together
go to
with Babukar Jata.
Did you go to the range yourself?
I was not there. I was at that time at the barracks, waiting.
How do you know he was at the range?
Yeah, because before they were taken to the range, they all passed the barracks, the council members, all of them. They came to the range, to the barracks. That is where they tied these people and took them to the range, stabbed them to death. He was there.
Did you see him at the barracks?
Yes, I saw him. I saw Babukar Jata. I saw Edward Singate. I saw Lieutenant Sadibu Haidara. I saw Lieutenant Yankoba Toure. I saw all of them.
Momodu Baji, did you see him there at the
Momodu
barracks?
Baji, he was there. He was there.
Now let's talk about events that occurred before the captured soldiers were taken to the range, as you describe it, to be executed. Did anything happen at the officers' mess at Yundum Barracks?
Yeah, my own understanding, I saw the council members getting into the officers' mess. That is Lieutenant Sadibu Haidara, Lieutenant Singate, Sana Sabali, Yankobo Ture. They all get into the officers' mess whilst we were standing on the flagpole, I remember. Then they get into the officers' mess. There, Edward came.
Before you proceed, I want to establish who was present.
It was the juntas. They were the only one in that office. We were standing outside.
Babukar Jata, did he attend that meeting?
No. In the afternoon, no. I don't saw him there. This was in the afternoon.
How about Mumudu Baji?
I don't saw him.
Did you see him?
No, that afternoon, no. He was not there.
So, tell us what happened at the officers' mess.
Yeah, they all of them get inside. Then I remember the time Edward Singate was passing us. He said one word, that if you want to enjoy. That time, these people has been already killed, Baro and Dotfal and Favanyang. I heard Edward saying that if you want to enjoy, you have to risk your life. So is life. Then after pass Yankobo Ture, he said, we can forgive, but we cannot forget. They dance, they tune this tune, and they dance it. This was from his mouth.
Who said that?
Yankobo Ture. We can forgive, but we cannot forget. Yeah, they let them dance their own tune.
And then
they get into the officers' mess. After they were there for a while, then they came out, marched straight to the guard room. Then from there, they start calling out soldiers in the cells, those who were captured.
Who was calling them out?
RSM Papu Gomez. While Sana, Sabali, Edward, Yankobo Ture, Sadibu, they were all standing aside with their escorts.
Mr. Witness, you gave a statement to the investigators, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
I just want to read out a paragraph from your statement and get you to confirm whether that is what you said to the investigators or not. In your statement, you said that there was this RSM Sanyang called Papo.
No, it's two.
Okay, can you clarify that, please?
Yes, RSM Babukar Sanyang and RSM Papu were different.
These are two different people.
These are two different.
And RSM Papu is RSM Papu Gomez, according to you.
Correct, sir.
All right, thank you. That is clarified. So, who was reading, who was calling out the names, please?
It was RSM Papu Gomez that afternoon.
Did he have a list or he did not have a list?
Yeah, he was having a list, a paper, white paper.
And can you tell us how those events unfolded?
Yeah, then they start to call soldiers to come out from the cells to the Land Rover. As they come out, he himself was tied. He was the one who was tightening them. RSM Papu Gomez, I was standing. You know, if they say Sergeant, if they call Lieutenant, if they say Lieutenant Bakari Mane, he come out, Papu will take the, it's an electric cable, I think, and tied his hand, push them inside the Land Rover. They use Land Rover. This is how Lieutenant say, Lieutenant Lamin Darboe, Lieutenant Buba Jamme, Kedek Sila, they all tied their hand, call them, they come out, they tied their hand and push them inside the Land Rover. It was a Land Rover, green one.
We want to establish exactly who was put in that vehicle.
I
Let's
may not
take them
remember.
one by one. Just those you can remember, but let's
Yeah,
take them one by one.
Okay, I fully remember Lieutenant Jibril Sait. I remember Lieutenant Buba Jamme. I remember Lieutenant Bakari Mane Nyancho. I remember Kedek Sila. I remember Kopul Kamara. I remember Buba Jamme, left from Nyomi. I think Basiru Kamara, I said it. And I remember one couple, Damfa, but he was taken to the range. Luckily, he was not killed. They returned with him.
Do you know whether he is still alive?
I am not sure, because long time I don't know about him. But he was taken to the range. They're supposed to execute him. He was very lucky. They brought him back. And later, he was set free. He continued his normal duties. Damva.
Do you have any idea, do you know what transpired in the meeting at the mess before they came out and started calling out the soldiers?
Definitely no, because I was not there.
Were you eventually told what happened there?
No, only they themselves knew. Okay. We were not briefed.
So when they took out these soldiers, do you know where Babukar Jatta was at this stage?
Babukar Jatta he was there, because he went with them to the range.
How about Baji?
Baji too was at the range.
Was he at Yundum Barracks as at the time these soldiers were put in the truck?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, all of them were there.
This is absolutely important that we have to get to the truth.
Yes, sir.
About who was there and who played which role. On this particular occasion, I would just remind you that you are under oath, and you are, not that I'm doubting you at all, but I just wish to remind you that you are under oath, and that you have an obligation to speak the full truth and nothing but the truth. Are we together?
Yes, sir, and I will speak the truth, nothing but the truth.
Babukar Jatta, according to you, was there at this time?
Was there, yes.
Momodu Baji, currently National Security Advisor, was there at this time?
Yes, sir.
Sana Sabali, Lieutenant, was there at this time?
Yes, sir.
Edward Singate, Lieutenant, was there at this time?
Yes, sir.
Yankuba Ture, Lieutenant, was there at this time?
Yes, sir.
Sadibu Haidara, Lieutenant, was also there at this time?
Yes, correct.
Do you know a person called Peter Singate?
Correct. He too was there. I forget. Peter Singate. He was there. Yeah. Peter was there. Very wicked.
Why do you say that?
Yeah, because he shot people to death, man. He was the one who shot one of my brother, Kopul Kebe, on his leg.
Mr. Witness, it is important that we distinguish what you heard, what you were told,
Okay, sir.
from what you actually know.
Okay.
What you saw for yourself, what you perceived for yourself. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Correct.
Okay. So you now tell us that all these people were present. I will name them again, just to be sure that we get to the truth. Just to be sure that what you tell us is something you confirm to be truthful.
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant Sana Sabali, correct?
Correct.
Lieutenant Edward Singate,
Correct.
Lieutenant Sadibu Haidara,
Correct.
Lieutenant Yankuba Ture,
Correct.
Army Commander at the time Babukar Jatta,
Correct.
Momodu Baji, currently National
Correct.
Security Advisor,
Correct.
Peter Singate, Lieutenant at the time.
Correct.
These people were there.
These people were there.
You are on the oath, these people were present.
They were there.
Okay. So these soldiers who you've mentioned, were put in the Land Rover, and you said Papu Gomez was the one, RSM Papu Gomez was the one who tied their hands behind their backs. Okay. Can you tell us how they were put in that Land Rover?
They were just, they seated, opened their legs, giving their back to each other. They were just like they assembled them, packed them in that Land Rover.
Was anything put over their heads?
The time they were leaving Yundum barracks, nothing was put on their head. The time they were leaving Yundum to the execution ground, they were not covered. Nothing was put in on their head. I don't know after the time they left the gate, going towards the range, I don't know whether they were covered or not. But inside the barracks, they were not covered. The dead bodies that they brought was covered. Yes.
So tell us about how they left the barracks to the range.
Yeah, after the time, by the time they tied them and put them in the Land Rover, from there they took off. Sana was leading, followed by Edward Singate, Yankubo Ture, Sadibu Haidara. Then the victims escorted to the range.
Who escorted them?
That on top of the Land Rover, I saw at that time Sergeant Alaji Kanyi sitting at the back of the Land Rover, gun pointing them. Buba Jammeh was the one sitting in front of the Land Rover. The driver, I don't remember.
Let's clarify the issue of this Buba Jammeh. You mentioned a Lieutenant Buba Jammeh.
No, this is not Lieutenant Buba Jammeh. This is Buba Jammeh, Kanil, known as Kanilai.
So you had Lieutenant Buba Jammeh,
yes,
who was also arrested.
Thank you, sir.
And in the Land Rover.
Yes,
and
sir.
You also have Buba Jammeh Kanilai, who also escorted
the guys,
okay,
these soldiers, to the range.
Do you know whether any older soldiers went with them?
These were the guys in that Land Rover, but there were a lot of soldiers, like Sana's escort, Sadibu Haidara's escort, Edward Singate's escort. They were all there too with them. They all went to the range.
Do you remember those who were escorts for Sana Sabali?
Yeah, I remember Njai. I remember JCB Mendy.
Njai who?
Njai. I don't know whether it's Babukar Njai or not, but it's Njai, tough, black.
Do you recall his nickname, if he had one?
Yeah, he have one nickname, but I forget, sir. I forget. But Njai, yeah, I know him in passing.
Can you describe him?
Yeah, he's a tall black boy, and he's fit. Yeah, tall and fit. Njai Ponkal.
Is that the name? Is that the nickname?
Yeah, class. Yeah, he's my class, the same batch with me. We train together.
And they call him according to you?
Njai Ponkal, he is big, Njai.
So okay, we have now Njai Ponkal. Who else?
You have JCB Mendy.
JCB Mendy.
You have one boy, Churo Ture.
Can we get their ranks as well? Njai Ponkal, what rank was he at the time?
At that time, private soldier. All these guys I'm naming, at that time, they were private soldiers.
So JCB Mendy was also a private
soldier at that time.
And you said Churo.
Churo Ture.
Churo Ture.
Ture, yeah.
What was his rank?
He was too a private soldier.
Who else?
At that time. Yeah. I think you have Mohammed Sambu too, if I don't... No, I fully remember these people that I give you, 100%.
Okay, how about Edward Singate? Who
It
were
was
his
Sinate,
guards?
Marong, Lamin Marong, one Marong, Lance Corporal Samba Jallo, and this boy, I forget his name. I forget the boy's name, man. It's just like I'm seeing him, but the name I don't remember. But Marong and Samba Jallo, Lance Corporal Jallo, and Marong. Yes.
And for Yankuba Ture?
I don't remember much.
Sadibu Haidara?
Yeah, Asadibu too.
So all these guys you have remembered, you said they also went to the range.
Yes.
Do you know which range they went to?
This range, we call it Lance Corporal Bojang's range, behind Jambai Forest, Birkama.
So when we hear Nyambai Forest range, you are referring to the range in or behind Birkama?
Yes.
And you have a name for it, Corporal Lamin what?
Bojang.
Lamin Bojang Range.
Yes, sir. Correct.
And that is the official name for the range
Yes.
in the army.
Yes.
How far is this range from Sifo?
From Sifo, a little bit far, I would say, to my own estimation, maybe let's say 4 to 5 kilometers from Sifo. It's not very far from Sifo.
So when soldiers say that those who were arrested were taken to the range near Sifo, would they be referring to the same place that you mentioned?
Yes, sir. They would be referring to the same place. That's the only range around that area.
That is the only range around that
That
area.
I knew, yes.
And then can you tell us what happened afterwards?
Yeah, after being taken to the range while I was in the camp, and I asked him, class, where are these people going with these soldiers? What he told me was, class, are you not a soldier? I told him, yeah, but do you mean that they're going to kill them? He told me, yes, of course. But me, I will not be here to wait. I am not here. I will not be here to see their dead bodies. He told me that I'm going home. Then I told him that me, I'm not going home. I must see what is going to happen to these people. You know. Then I seated, waiting for 1-2 hours. They brought the dead bodies. They were all killed, and they brought them to the barracks. I was there standing.
Whose body did you see?
I see Sergeant Major Say, I see his body, I see Lieutenant Jamme, I see Lamin Darboe, I see Bakari Mane, I see Kedek Silla. I saw all of them. All of them. With my eyes. Blood was everywhere. It's horrible.
And what happened when they were brought back, when the bodies
They
were
were
brought back?
and after the time they brought them, they took them around the cookhouse. Man, it was horrible. Dragging them out. It was horrible, man. And the funniest thing, how they were killed. Like they were butchered, man. None of them was gunshot. They were killed with bayonets, man. As a professional soldier, as an experienced soldier, I know. By the time I stood in front of them, I even saw Sergeant Major Say's hand was broken. One of his eye was removed. Can see the eye. It was dirty killing, man.
You did not see bullet wounds, but you saw bayonet wounds.
Bayonets, man. Butchered. Killed them nastily, man.
When they brought the bodies back, where were members of the council?
Yeah, they just come and throw the dead bodies there at barracks. If you remember that July 22nd, there was a football match between Gambia and Liberia.
We are talking about November 11. Yes.
Yeah, this is what I mean. That November 11, I think there was a football match. Then after they brought the dead bodies, Sana went straight to the stadium.
How about Yankuba?
They were all there, the stadium. They went there to watch that football match.
As if nothing had happened.
As nothing has happened. Exactly.
Babukar Jata?
Yeah, they all left.
Mamadou Baji?
They all left. They all left. And leave us with the dead bodies. No, they were, sorry. The time they came first to the barracks. Then Sergeant Cisse, Ibu Cisse, I forget, he was inside the cells. Then they called him out. And he was asked by Sana to do his last prayers. He did it, he do it. Then from there, Sana Sabali told him that march and go and join your friends. Whilst the dead bodies were lying behind the cookhouse. Sana Sabali told him that march and go and join your friends. As he was going, Lance Corporal Mbub, he gave...
First name, please?
Babukar Mbub, Babukar Mbub. But Mbub, Corporal Mbub, his first name I think is Babukar, but I'm not sure, but the Mbub, yeah. He was the one who shot at Sergeant Cisse. He gave him 2 shots on the back and the head. The sergeant fell down. That was the end of Sergeant Cisse. From there, Sana and his people, they left.
Did they kill anybody else at Yundum Barracks after Sergeant Cisse?
Yeah, after the death of Sergeant Cisse, only Sergeant Cisse's death I witnessed.
Do you know a person called Corporal Basiru Kamara?
Kamara, he was shot, but was not in my presence. He was killed in the barracks, but I was not standing at that time. Yes, for that of Sergeant Cisse, yes. But Kamara, the time he was killed, I was not there. Later, I know that he is killed.
Did you get to find out who killed him?
No, I don't follow up to find out who kills him.
Earlier, you described Peter Singate, Lieutenant Peter Singate, as being very wicked. You said he shot your friend.
My brother, Kopul Kebe.
Your brother, Kopul Kebe. What's Kebe's first name?
I forget his first name.
I know in the army you are not fond of
this is the problem. We are not
names.
fond of, yes, this is it.
Would you be referring to Kopul Amadou Kebe?
Amadou Kebe, he was once a ration storekeeper.
How do you know that he was shot by Lieutenant Peter Singate?
Yes, of course. He was shot, he himself.
How do you know?
He told me.
I take it that he did not die of those injuries?
No. He didn't die. He is still alive.
Can you tell us the circumstances in which he was shot, if you know?
Yeah, because he was, they say he is part of the group that wanted to overthrow the former regime, the regime of Yahya Jammeh. That was the reason.
Do you know in which place the shooting occurred?
No, but I learned that it was in his residence, but I am not sure. This is the information that I received from soldiers, that he was shot at his residence, on his leg. This, the rumors, that's the information I received, but I don't know where and when he was shot.
All right. So let's go back to the events at Yundum Barracks. Your testimony is that when you arrived at the barracks, there was a truck in which there were the bodies of two individuals, Lieutenant Dotfal and Lieutenant Barrow. But soon after, you heard Sergeant Nyang being beaten by the soldiers. They broke his back, and he was subsequently put in the same ditch in which Fall and Barrow's body were placed, and he was shot at or killed by Corporal Coley.
Yes, sir, correct.
Thereafter, the soldiers who were arrested, including Sait, were taken away to the range, executed, and their bodies brought back at Yundum Barracks. That's your testimony, right?
Yes, correct.
And you said that the members of the council, together with, and as well as Jata and Baji, left the camp. There was a football match, Gambia versus Liberia, and these people went to watch the match. How could you recall that this day there was a football match between Gambia and Liberia? How could you recall that?
Yeah, I remember I myself, I was at the stadium after the burial. There I find Sana was sitting on covered pavilion watching the match. That was my first day I saw George Weah. Yes, I find them. We were all there together.
What do you say to the suggestion that some members of the council did not go to Fajara Barracks? They were at the stadium the whole day, the entire day.
No, during that match, yes, Sana was there watching, but he didn't complete it. He didn't complete in watching the football match. Then after he left, the time he left, I don't know where he been to. State House, Fajara Barracks, Yundum, I don't know. But after he left.
Is it your suggestion that these killings occurred before the football match took place?
Correct. It occurred before the football match. After the killings, they went to the football match.
So you are therefore suggesting that to say that one was at the football match does not necessarily mean that one was not at Yundum Barracks before the match and participated in the killings. You would agree to that?
No, yes.
Now let's talk about the burial. These leaders, these members of the council and senior members of the army, they left Fajara, they left Yundum Barracks, they left the bodies there. What happened to the bodies?
Yeah, after they left the bodies there, they went to the same place where they buried Fafanyang and Barrow, Basiru Barrow and Dotfal, and dig another ditch beside them.
Who did the digging? Do you know?
No, I was not there because that time I don't want to look at the dead bodies. But I know that I find that they dig the ditch already. Yes, but who dig? Definitely, I don't know. Yes, then I was standing there. Then I Alaji Kanyi with another soldier, which I forget the name. They start dragging them, throwing them inside the ditch, dragging them, throwing them inside the ditch. Sergeant Major Sait was the last man. Then, but what happened was, he was the tallest, one of the tallest soldiers. By the time they get him in the ditch, his legs were coming out of the ditch. Then Alaji Kanyi rose to the cookhouse, go and pick the axe, one big axe. He came with the axe. Whilst his leg was outside, he decided to cut the legs. He cut the two legs. Then he was pushed inside the ditch like that. And as I am telling you, even you dig that ditch, where they are, you will find what I'm telling you. You will find that Sergeant Major Sait legs was cut apart. If you see anybody legs cut straight away, that is Jibril Sait. Then after he was buried, it's Alaji Kanyi who cut his legs with axe.
Who else participated in the burial?
A lot of soldiers. These RSMs, they were the ones supervising. RSM Papu was the one supervising the burial. And Gomez. Sanyang, Papu, they know better.
You said that one soldier, Damfa, was not executed.
Correct.
Do you know what happened to him?
Then later, they set him free. He continued his normal duties. Now I don't know whether he is still alive or he is in the army. I don't know his whereabouts now.
Mr. Chair, we have heard from the witness what happened at at Yundum Barracks on this day. Essentially, his testimony is that most of these soldiers were apprehended, first detained in the camp, later removed from their cells and taken to the range and executed. I want to play a video to the commission. I want the commissioners to see the explanation that was given by Yaya Jammeh on the day after the coup, and for the commissioners to appreciate firsthand the explanation that was given by the junta. And you may juxtapose that against the testimonies you are going to hear before this commission. Mr. Witness, you can bring your chair somewhere near here, and you join us, and we watch the video together.
Okay.
Technicians at the OV van, could you kindly play the video you have been provided with?
November 1994, the residents of Bakau and the neighborhood were woken by the sound of heavy gunfire. When it stopped, an announcement was made. An attempt to topple the 4-month-old AFPRC government had been foiled. A former minister in the AFPRC government had absconded. According to President Jammeh, there was a connection between the two.
The rest of the civilian members of the cabinet, those who have been there since 94, will tell you that I suspended cabinet and asked them to go and talk to these soldiers. They were there up from 8 o'clock on Thursday, up to 7 o'clock. And I asked them to leave the camp, let them come forth. If they got the message, that's it. If they have not got the message, let them go ahead, we know what to do. And then they gave us the assurance that, oh, okay, you know, it was a misunderstanding. We thought that it was true that soldiers State House guards are paid $10,000 a month. Yeah, but how is that possible? Everybody is paid from army headquarters. So you know the pay scale, the pay scale of everybody. They said no, they were told, and they would not reveal their source, that even though they receive money their normal salary. This 10,000 is paid through a secret account. Secret account from there. So, but you know, these sort of things. You know. So, but we know that some of those officers were very close to members of the former regime. In fact, some of them went into the army through the back door, through those officers, through those people that they know. So, we warned them. They came around 7. And we thought that if that was the end of it, they've got the message. By 1 o'clock, they've already lined up people that they thought were loyalists to us. And they were going to shoot them. But the mistake they made was they were brutalizing them. That is, punishing them, asking them to crawl, and they had guns pointed at them, you know. And they said they will drill them for 1 hour, which means as a lesson to others who may want to betray once they start moving on us. So they were subject to all sorts of maltreatment to a point where they decided to kill them. Well, it so happened that they lined them up. You know, I don't know whether you've ever been to Yundum Barracks.
Yes.
They've lined them up on the tar road, the road that runs right through the camp.
Yes.
Okay, but then if a vehicle is passing on the highway, you can see people. So what they did was that they cannot just line them up like that and shoot them without anybody seeing them. And they didn't also want to alert us by stopping traffic. So they decided to put the lights out. The moment they put the lights out in order to shoot these people, these people ran away. And one escaped. He ran on foot from Yundum up to Fajara, where he informed Sabali that, and Sabali was shocked when he saw his body, that he was beaten and he had a lot of lacerations on his back. And then Sabali called me and I told him, look, don't worry. I called the camp and somebody picked up. And then he told me, yes, the so-called chairman, we are going to kick you, you know. Then I laughed. I said, I'll teach you a lesson. I said, okay, this is for real. So we sent scouts to go and check, and they realized that these people were already, in fact, they were hunting for these people. And in fact, they were mobilizing. We just sent a few people to attack Yundum. Little did we know that the whole problem was at Bakau. That they have amassed all their weapons in Bakau. So we thought that it was only Yundum. Only to realize that Bakau is the headquarters of these so-called rebels. So it all came to a point when I called Bakau to find out what was going on. But incidentally, the signaler didn't know what was going on. They locked him inside. So he thought that everything was okay, and he said, no, I told him to go out and check what was going on around the garden. The other person, he said, sir, I have been locked in. I said, good, just stay there. This is how it wasn't a question of going, these people were paid. And immediately after, when the fight started, by 1 o'clock, by 1:45, the former, I don't want to name names, but a former Western ambassador called Fafambai and told him, well, it seems that the AFPRC are gaining the upper hand, that they are losing, and that the rebels are losing. He said, how do you know? He said, well, from sources. He said, you are an ambassador, you are supposed to be in your house. He said, no, I just called to tell you that, unfortunately, the AFPRC is gaining the upper hand in the fight. So Fafambai called me. I told him, I know what is going on. But you remember what he said when he last came to the office? He said, oh yes, but I didn't think that they would be stupid enough to go that far. I said, yes, but I'll take them a lesson. After that, we know what we are going to do to them. So by 4, the fight was over. These people were running around and we were chasing them everywhere. And behind that particular country's embassy, we found 8 uniforms. And that explains, and also blood stains. And by 8 o'clock, we got news that some of the rebels who escaped from the mutineers who escaped from the camp and were seriously injured were in Senegalese military hospitals in Casamas. And we wondered how they got to Nuaba. And all of a sudden, we were told that Bakari Darboe escaped and is in Kolda, where the home of the former Senegalese High Commissioner. And he came to that. So I told him, look, how did Bakari Darboe escape? How did he get to Kolda? Because and how can you explain why your vehicle had to pass Kalaji checkpoint by 5 a.m.? He said, well, he didn't know. I said, no, because I gave instruction that no matter what happened, they should not touch diplomatic vehicles. Let them allow them to pass. Because we thought that they will do the normal thing, that is trying to evacuate their citizens, because that's what they do. They create trouble, and then the first thing they do is evacuate their citizens. So I told them, look, don't touch any diplomatic vehicle. And that was the mistake. We would have got back at Darboe, who was the main sponsor of the attempted coup.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. That's the end of the video. Perhaps it is a good point to leave it, to go for the lunch break. It's now 1:30, and we resume at 2:30, and then we finish this witness.
Thank you very much, Counsel. I think it's the right time to take the lunch break. So we come back at half past 2 and then continue. So we have a few more session with the witness. Is that correct?
Yes, there is still a little more ground to cover with this witness. And perhaps after him, it wouldn't be necessary to call another witness today.
Fine, that's what I wanted clarified. Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned. We come back at half past 2. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.